Welcome back, everyone, to the Vintage Sewing Machine Garage YouTube channel. Today, you are looking at the second of two Singer 99s that I recently came in possession of. The one I worked on before required a full overhaul, as all my machines do, and this one is no different. Well, actually, it is a little different. It's in rougher shape aesthetically. I have tried to emphasize in the past that you never want to assume if a machine looks rough. That doesn't mean it was, well, it wasn't obviously stored and cared for the way it should have been, but that doesn't mean it's worn out. And even machines that look beautiful, they almost look mint, they can have their own issues. So never make that assumption. That being said, this machine has not been given a lot of love. It's got dust, some kind of film on it. And I've shown all of you in the past where I've had to remove residue from where people would take things like tape and put them on, usually they'll put it at some point overlapping the needle plate because they're trying to know where their seam allowance is. Eventually, machines would have marked seam allowances, but back in the day, apparently they didn't. Well, whoever had this machine, instead of using tape, they used a Bandaid. That's a great metaphor for this machine and the shape it's in. It is missing its bobbin plate over here. Again, that is not a surprise. I may have shared with you all Singer 66, 99, 185 models. All of them have a plate. They have a bobbin plate, but the way the bobbin plate installs is a little odd. It's not always intuitive, and if someone doesn't have the manual, who knows whether they could get the plate on. In fact, the plate on this machine was gone. When I see missing plates, it can often happen on old rotary, like white rotary and Kenmore rotaries, because those plates were fairly loose when they were installed. And in this case, who knows what happened to it. However, I am happy to report that my earlier efforts to salvage the Singer 66, the one that was frozen, rusted solid beyond repair, I was able to salvage parts from it, and it is a donor machine, and it is going to donate. Well, in this case, I have. I'm not going to go here and count it all, but I have a number of parts that I took off of that machine, including its bobbin case. It's a very sad looking bobbin case, but look what I have here. I have both not only the needle plate, which I won't need for this machine, but I have the bobbin plate. Now you can get modern replacements for these. That's how often the bobbin plates went missing on these machines. You can also get new needle plates, and the new ones sometimes will offer you markings for seam allowances. So I may have a decal for seam allowances. Like I say, it's up to the sewer, but the Band-Aid is coming off. It's just strange that it has a literal Band-Aid on it, because this machine it's got some issues. Look at there. This is a machine, I may have shown it when I first got this. It's missing one of the caps that you take off and access to get to the brushes. The bottom one's here, the top one's missing. However, I have salvaged motors before and motor parts, so I'm hoping that I will be able to find that in my inventory. But this is the plate, the bobbin plate that came off of that other machine. Now it's dirty and it's got some spotting here. I have no idea what that weird black crud is. But anyway, I will be taking polish to it, and waste not, want not. Like I say, I'm glad the reproduction parts are there. However, I am going to attempt to use original parts when I can. And if you can, if you don't have an original part and you're missing one, then get the reproduction. They should work fine, especially for something like a plate. Now, haven't really done a lot of inspecting beyond this. My check spring still has bounce, as far as I can tell. And let's just take a quick look underneath. I don't know what's in here. We're going to find out, if anything. Usually, if there's anything below, it's usually dust. So, again, holding the base still so this thing doesn't go flying. And, oh, okay. How about that? I don't see this often. What do we have here? We have we have a vintage Singer owner's manual to the 128 model. It has nothing to do with this machine. Okay, we have a empty oiling bottle. That's kind of interesting. Okay, similar to the one I use. I have no idea what the heck this is. Does it go to? Does it tie up someone's hair? Who knows? I have no clue. What do we got? We also have. Oh, I'm just fumbling around here behind the camera, so we'll look at that. Oh, that's nice. I've got 5 vintage bobbins. You all know how I geek out on vintage bobbins because, yes, I am not kidding you. Even metal bobbins were made better back in the day. It might sound like an exaggeration. Okay, I'm going to take this box out and we'll see what kind of goodies are in there. Now, one thing to note, I notice when I set this machine down, I don't know if you can see it the way the camera is angled, but see if I drop this down, if that helps. Notice that the machine seems to sink. It's not level. And that tells me that one of the corner supports is either tired or missing. Let's see. Ugh. Now, tilting this is gonna be a little strange. I think, you know what? Let's bring the camera up because we're gonna have a flying bowling ball here all right. Let's see if this helps at all. All right, machine is out and wow, okay. Okay, and the way this carry case is designed, there are no corner supports in the back here, which, all right, that's fine, but there's one here. I don't know if you can see this here. I've got one support, right? It's like a block, like in a piece of furniture, a corner block. I can feel the wood there, and I see the little rubber, what's left of the rubber cap. Over here, one's totally gone. And I may have demonstrated in the past what my plans are similar for this machine, and I've had to do this before for some of these old Singer carry cases, is to, I have square dowels, or if you don't have a square dowel, even a round dowel might work. Square is better. And then I'm going to create that. I'm going to cut the dowel and I will make a new support for this so that the machine is level. That will help a future sewer, and it will also allow the bobbin plate to slide, because if your machine is not level, and this is true whether you have a machine in a table or a carry case. Right now, if I had this plate in here, it's not going to, I can't even open to get to the bobbin because the plate's going to be blocked, right? Because the bed of the machine has got to be level or just slightly above the rim of the case. Wow, this is a hard case, a hard case Singer. I have seen machines in the past that were worse off than this. I'm sure I have. You all can remind me. Oh, sorry, I neglected to, oh, wow, show you what was in the box. That was not on purpose. I didn't do that. Oh, look at that. That's nice. That is a feed dog cover if you want to do free motion work. You don't always see that. Very often, I don't know if these were standard. They may have come standard. Singer would give you a few accessories standard and all the others you would have to pay extra for. They were upsells. I don't know if this cover was standard or not, but they've often gone missing over the years because people often didn't use them. We have a Singer ruffler. I think that was one of the, let's get our camera a little lower here. I think that was one of the standard feet that Singer may have offered back in the day. Don't quote me on it. What else we got? We have a slotted binder foot, binding, often used for tablecloths and bibs and aprons and who knows what else. An adjustable hammer foot, very nice. Some of you may have a vintage machine and you may not use all of these vintage accessories. I geek out on them because they are so beautifully made, much better than many of the new ones. There's a rolled hammer foot. I personally have always struggled using them, but I have giant, baseball mitt-sized hands here. Some of you may be able to use them just fine. This is a zipper foot. It is also called a double-sided cording foot. What else we got? We have another smaller rolled hammer foot, so you'd get a more narrow rolled hem than you would with this other one. Just different sizes that they came in, And we have a edging foot. This is when you want to sew up right up close to the edge of your fabric, I think. I remember reading that in a manual. And we have a gathering foot. I believe this is sometimes called a shirring foot. A lot of our, the past generations, a lot of them had, they had fashion styles where they would use lots of pleats and gathers, if you will. Now, this box, the only thing left in it that I can see, let's see what we've got. We have some plastic, looks like, I don't know that they would be useful for this machine or not. We've got dust, and we have a piece of what looks like, it says Gillette on it, so it's a razor, right? So always be careful when you're exploring a machine you've not. I did that just putting my fingers in there. Probably should have looked before I did. In any case, you all know that one of my favorite machines, I have a lot of favorites, but in the Singer line, in addition to the Singer 301 and the Singer 201, and of course, yes, the 221 featherweight, the Singer 66 and 99s, 185s, they're just the little tractors. They are simple to work on, simple to restore, easy for me to say maybe, but you can get parts for them, and they're really strong. And they are arguably the strongest of all the top-loading bobbin machines, where you can take the 66 or so called the 66 or the top-loading bobbin and just drop it right in, just like you would a Singer 201. So there you have it. This is the hard luck case. We're going to see what we can do with it, and then hopefully, I'm going to go through this whole machine, and hopefully, eventually, it will have a debut. It's moving, so at least it's not, it's not frozen. I don't see any rust. I just see a lot of filth, and I'll be going through this. I see some green lettering. Might not show up for you folks on the camera there. But I see a belt. That's not unusual. But look at that. I don't know for sure, but I'll be taking the belt. I bet you it says Singer on it. I wonder how long this belt's been on here. I can tell you, based on my just general observation, this machine has not been used in a long time. But the miracle of vintage sewing machines is many of them will wake up, right? I'm going to wait. To me, conserving, restoring machines often means getting to wake up out of their slumber and getting them to roar back to life. And that is my hope for this machine. That is my hope for your machines. If you are working on or struggling with a restoration, I wish you all the best on your own restorations. And if you have a Singer 66 or a 99 or a 185 for that matter, feel free to follow along as I delve into this hard luck case Singer 99, and we're going to see if we can bring it back. Singer straight stitch machines of this era are some of the most forgiving. Not always, but many times they forgive lots of abuse and they come roaring back. They just need the time and the tender, loving care of people like yourself and me. Thanks all for watching, and we will see you in the next video.